All right, so today we're going to talk about image suppression, which is also known as, how to push down negative images in Google. And Matt, what are some of the things that people want to push down?
A lot of it is mugshots is probably the biggest one. Sometimes you'll get slander revenge images, but those are actually pretty easy. Those, like for someone doing revenge pictures of their ex-girlfriend, you can always report that and Google pull it down pretty nicely. But mugshots, they'll never pull down. You have to bury it.
And mugshots, if you're on, I know there are a bunch of mugshot sites. Is it like if you're on one, you're on a bunch?
So it's actually, a lot of the mugshot sites aren't ranking well anymore. Nowadays, it's going to be news article mugshots. So the mugshot via a prominent news outlet. Google's really shut down on the old mugshot dedicated sites for extortion. Yeah, those aren't really an issue anymore. I think the story goes, the mugshots.com guy got in trouble, and the whole industry kind of fell like dominoes as a result.
So I've noticed, before we talk about how to push stuff down, sometimes if I'll Google somebody, I'll see not the person I'm Googling, but like if their name is on a page and then I'll see someone else's picture, that can be a problem for clients too, I imagine.
Yeah, we've had some clients who don't have anything negative at all on them, but they Google, for example, be using the wrong picture for their Google Knowledge panel. They want that fixed. And you can't just email Google being like, hey, you're the wrong guy, because Google doesn't respond to those kind of requests. So you have to play with the relevancy. You have to manipulate Google into thinking that the image that you want to show up is more prominent. In that case, you use SEO and a click team. Basically, you're just convincing Google that that image is more relevant, more popular, and as a result, they'll switch over to the right image. But same tactic for negative images. So if you click on Images tab, for example, and the very front is a mugshot, the idea is you want to promote everything right behind it. That's positive. So you use a click team to click on those images. And meanwhile, you also promote them with backlinks. So you can have, let's say, a positive images on XYZ website. You'll create articles and mention that XYZ website. So Google thinks, okay, a lot of people are talking about this site and a lot of people are clicking on it. Let's move it to the top. And you keep doing that process over and over until all the positive images leapfrog the negative and bury it as a result.
So it's a combination of, it's a combination of links to the positive images you want to promote and also clicks and user engagement to those same images.
Exactly. Then also, if the client's comfortable with it, uploading more images too that are positive is always a good tactic.
So when you say uploading more images, you're talking about like, images on press releases, interview sites, web 2.0s.
Exactly, yeah, blogs.
Social
interview sites rank really, really well. Press releases very, very well, yes.
So when you look at a case, it sounds like you have kind of two strategies you can use here. One is, promoting the already good stuff with the links and clicks. And the second strategy is just throwing up a bunch of new images. Do you employ both strategies at the same time, or you're like, oh, this case is better for this strategy or that strategy?
Both together works really well, and then adding new images really depends on the client. If they have a million images online already, it doesn't really make sense to add too many more. But if they don't have anything to compete with, then yes, you have to definitely add more images. Another tactic too is for people, when you Google search a person, and there's an image tab sometimes on the actual web results, not on the very top, but the images will show up. For example, if the client is an Instagram model, they're definitely gonna have that image tab. But if the client is an old man who has no images uploaded, and that image tab most likely isn't going to be there. And then the threat becomes the very top where it has like news, images, videos. Right. That's where the threat becomes. A tactic we've noticed though is if someone's kind of in the middle where they do have the images tab on the web result, they don't have too many images. What we can do is create a lot of positive content and not upload any images at all. And Google sees the correlation between text and images changed drastically, and it gets rid of that images tab. But the threat will still remain if someone clicks on the images tab at the very top. But that's pretty rare. Most people just look at web results and scroll down.
Interesting. So you've got a third bullet in the holster.
Yes.
That sometimes works. I have a question for you about when you're adding new images, because I've advised people before, like take different pictures, like wear a different t-shirt, take some inside, some outside, different backgrounds. Do you advise clients of that? Does that make a difference to have a whole variety, like 10 or 20 different pictures of your face and different types of wardrobe?
Definitely. More images, the better variety. You can't just take one image and upload it to 50 different sites and expect it to rank 50 different times. Yeah, variety is
so
key.
maybe it's the same image one or two times, as opposed to if you have a whole different bunch of varieties of different images.
Exactly. Yeah, variety is key.
And then let's say that someone has a mugshot or a negative image of themselves, and it's it's in the top bar, let's say like top 3, top 5.
Mhm.
How long does it typically take to push it down? Is it a quick fix, or is it kind of something that's stubborn and takes some time?
So that's a good question. So on the web results where it's under the images, there's only 5 images that show up. So that's a much quicker, easier process. That could be 1 to 3 months. But the images tab at the top, which people rarely click on, but if you do click on it, it shows 40, 30 images. It has like 4 different rows. So it's the process, 3 to 6 months, depending on the keyword.
So it really depends, I guess, on again how far the user wants to push down that image, how much control they want.
Yeah, it really depends if that image is number 1 or if it's number 10. That makes a big difference. If they have a common name or it's a unique name, that makes a big difference. Yeah, really case by case, unfortunately.
Cool. Well, is there anything that I've missed or that you want to add?
No, that's it. The best thing is just have the client give us a call and we can do our due diligence and let them know. Good, realistic expectation.
Sounds good. Thanks, Matt.
My pleasure. Thank you.